how to do a fresh install of macOS High Sierra on an old 13-inch MacBook Pro. Guys, awesome for tuning in. This is the video number 3 of my tutorial series where I upgraded the old used Mac Pro. As you can see here, the first thing that I did is upgrade the memory. The second is upgrade the SSD. And right now we're going to do a fresh install. And for that, I'm going to create a bootable USB installer, bootable USB install stick, because obviously I put a new, totally blank, empty SSD in there. And that's why I'm now want to boot from this USB stick. And maybe you even remember this from back in the day. There used to be a time when Apple had DVDs, and then at some point they did away with the DVDs, and only thing you could do is download the operating system and install it. But when you went into the Mac store, you could ask someone at the store about the USB stick, and they would take out this USB stick and sell it to you. So that's why I still have this old OS X line USB stick. Obviously we're not going to use this, but I found it ever since I bought that stick many years ago. I found it quite useful to have a bootable USB stick lying around from which I can install onto my different computers. Obviously, most households, they have maybe 1 or 2 MacBooks and maybe an iMac or some kind of stationary Mac. And if you ever want to install the system fresh, then it really makes sense. So instead of having to download, let's say you want to reinstall 3 computers once a year, then you can save time because you only have to download it once. And the installation is going to be much faster from a USB stick than from an internet connection. Obviously that also depends. People have different kind of internet connections. So especially if your internet connection isn't that fast and you have maybe multiple machines to install, the bootable USB stick is really nice to have. And even if you don't want to do it, it's nice to see how to create one if you ever want to do this. Again guys, you're right now watching the introductory part. In part 2, we're going to jump into the computer, we're going to download the macOS High Sierra, and I'm also going to create, we have to jump into the terminal, type 1 or 3 commands, and then we create the boot stick. You can do this with different operating systems. It's not limited to High Sierra. You also could do it with Mojave or soon to be Catalina. I think that's how it's called. Guys, you will also find the tutorials for these other operating systems on my channel as well. So why don't we just go ahead and get rolling. In part 3, I'm going to also show you the complete installation process if you have never done a fresh install. And then in part 4, my summary and conclusion onto this 3-part video series where I upgraded this used Mac Pro. So awesome for tuning in. Let's get started. And guys, I jumped into the computer. As you can see, we are at part 2 right now. And yeah, as you can see, I have a Mac Pro as well that runs Mojave. So ideally, you want to create the bootable USB stick. Either you have a second computer, or before you upgrade your computer, keep in mind this is tutorial video number 3 of a upgrade series. And in my case, what actually happened, because on my second computer, I upgraded the MacBook Pro, and on my second computer I running Mojave. So for some reason, if I go into the App Store, it didn't display High Sierra. So there's a trick around that. If you can't find High Sierra in the App Store, you just, I'm going to put the link to the support article below, and then you scroll down, and where was it? Here. In addition to Mojave, you can still click that link and go to the App Store, and it will display macOS High Sierra. And to create that bootable USB stick, you just download the full file. I think it's a DMG or something like this. So let's do this right now. And it asks you, do you really want to download this? Maybe it thinks it's a little bit strange to download High Sierra if you have a higher version already. But that's what I'm gonna do. And yeah, it's downloading, but it's over 5 gigabytes. So I have a pretty fast internet connection, but still it takes a while. So that's why I'm a proponent of having a USB stick. That way you can always quickly reinstall the system, or if you have several computers, you don't have to do multiple lengthy downloads, but you do just once. And once it's on a USB stick, you can install it really fast. Saves you some time as well. So yeah, let's finish this up and then do the USB stick. And yeah guys, once the download was complete, I also got an error message. This copy of macOS High Sierra is too old to be run here. So that's perfectly fine. It's just because I'm running Mojave, because I'm not on the MacBook Pro, but on my other Mac computer. So you can just hit quit. That's totally no issue. The important thing is that you go into your applications folder and you check that install macOS High Sierra is completely downloaded. You can see 5.23 gigabytes. That's all we need. So next up, what we're going to do with this downloaded operating system is follow the Apple guide. I'm also going to link this for your convenience in the description below. If at some point you want to refer to the official Apple document, you can do this here as well. And as you already noticed down here, it's also explained for different operating system. So yes, right now I'm just going to do High Sierra, but you could do this bootable USB stick for every operating system that's listed in here. I'm just going to copy this command, then I'm going to go back to my applications folder, go down to the utilities folder, and here you see the terminal, and that's basically what we're going to use. We paste this command in here, and you see it's basically just a file path of the downloaded install package, and then here it says a command to overwrite a drive. Obviously it's not called my volume, you erase that, because on the desk you can see the new USB stick is called no name, so that's what we want to overwrite. So I'm just typing no and hit the tab, and it fill it out automatically, and it says no name. Guys, if you're confused right now, no problem, you can also go to disk utility, and then once that open up, that's also a nice nifty trick. You click up here, show all devices, and now you can see all the disks, because obviously you want to pay attention. Since you're overriding the USB stick, you do not want to accidentally put the wrong volume, the wrong drive, so to speak, in there. And that's something you can easily check. Right here you see it's the SanDisk USB stick, USB 3.0 stick, and it says no name. And once you click on it, you see, aha, that's the file path again. That's the file path of the drive. That's what we are going to overwrite. That's what I want to do. So you hit return, you type your password for security. Obviously that's important, since we're gonna erase that drive, and it even asks you a second time, are you really sure is that the drive you wanna erase and write the operating system bootable install media onto? You hit yes, and it starts working. And yes guys, this takes a small little bit. It erased the disk, it copies all the new files. On here you can see it already changed the name, SanDisk USB stick, and then install macOS High Sierra. So just wait until this is finished, and then we have a bootable installer. And excellent guys, after a little bit of waiting, the copying process is complete. And as you can see here, everything is finished. And looking over here, finally the SanDisk USB 3.0 stick has a new file system, macOS, and it's called Install High Sierra. He renamed it, and you can see 5 something gigabytes are used. So that makes us ready to install High Sierra on this MacBook Pro back there, which means we're right now going to jump to part 3, as you can see in the navigation below, and I'm going to walk you to how to do the fresh install with that USB stick on the MacBook Pro. As you can see in the navigation below, we jump to part 3. Everything is prepped for the install. I showed you how to create a USB stick. You can use any brand you want, doesn't have to be SanDisk. And we're going to boot the system from the bootable install media. And as you have seen in the previous 2 episodes, in the previous 2 videos, in video number 1, I showed you how to upgrade the memory to 16 gigabytes. And in video number 2, we put in this completely new, fresh and empty SSD. And obviously, if we don't have a bootable install media, the system won't boot. There will just be a gray screen and then a folder showing up. But we prepped this bootable USB stick, so that's why we can boot from this right now. So let's turn this on. And that's gonna take a second. Obviously, this is a USB 3.0 stick, but unfortunately the MacBook Pro is so old, it still uses USB 2.0. So I'm gonna let this boot up into the installer, and then we're gonna format the SSD, and then we are ready to proceed with the installation and have a fresh new operating system on here. So just give it a second, because I think it has to copy over 2 gigabytes and create a startup volume without having to use a disk. So I think it does everything on the USB stick. But once that is ready, the installation should go pretty fast and pretty smooth. And once the system is started up into the installation mode, let's click next. And then very important, in case you put in a new SSD, we're just gonna format that. And for this, we're gonna use disk utility, pick continue. And inside the disk utility, that's always the thing I recommend, show all devices. and you see this is the SanDisk and this is the image that he just created with the operating system. So probably he put that into the system memory or used the USB stick or something like this. This is the new SSD that's not formatted yet, so you're gonna have to erase it. We're just gonna hit erase, and then we're gonna pick a file system. Obviously, before we had the old hard disk drive, and these hard disk drives, they use the macOS extended file system, but with the SSD, you wanna pick APFS. That's a file system Apple has newly developed or developed a while back to be optimized for SSDs. So I'm just gonna hit erase and I'm calling the drive Mac. That's how I like to call my system drive. And then it's gonna erase it. And then after successfully erasing it, we can see how quick that was. Now the Samsung disk is formatted and we should be able to go to install. And after starting the install, you just click through here, agree to the terms. That should be pretty straightforward and fast to do. And here you see, this is the USB stick. Obviously you can't install on this, but here we formatted the SSD with the new APFS file system. And yeah, I mean, if you have watched part number one, we now have 16 gigabytes of memory. We have the SSD, and on top of that, we're not using the old file system that we had on these hard disk drives, but instead we have a new file system as well, APFS, that's optimized for solid state. So all these three things in combination going to give you much smoother performance out of your MacBook Pro, and maybe you can delay the purchase of a new MacBook Pro for another year or two and save some money that way and have a more up-to-date hardware. So I'm going to cut this short. You don't have to see the whole installation process. I'm going to be back in a second after the install is complete, or if somewhere along the way I find something interesting to show you. Terrific, the installation is complete, and what I'm going to do in a second for you is run the Geekbench test. After having done all the upgrades to this Mac Pro that were easily possible, we did in video number one the 16 gigabyte DDR memory instead of 4 gigabyte. Then in video number two we put in the SSD, and right now in video number three we did the fresh install as well. And in the last video I already took the boot time again, and we got about 17 seconds compared to over 1 minute before. So that was a really nice improvement. And right now we're gonna run the Geekbench test because I kind of want to know, after doing these memory and SSD upgrades and installing the system fresh, is there going to be a difference in the Geekbench results? So let's hit run and see what kind of results we get. Obviously, it's not all about just some numbers from some benchmark. It's also the day-to-day tasks. So when you click on something, things open up right away. Overall, I can really recommend this upgrade. It's a really nice performance increase. So let's check back in a second with the benchmark results. Terrific, there we have it. That's the final result of the upgrades. We have 2,990 and 5,644. And I think the best thing that I'm going to do, because I don't remember the old numbers on top of my head, let me put in the black side card. So you see on the top is the results before, and on the bottom is the results after. And also what I want to look at is down at the bottom, the memory copy and the memory bandwidth. That's the benchmark results that I got from the upgrades. Obviously, I think the best way to describe the difference is really when you use it on a day-to-day basis. And what I also can do is maybe upload this to the Geekbench website directly. That way you can compare it yourself if you have a similar system. And in my case, I also have a stationary Mac Pro that has a 6-core Xeon CPU, and that all has about 15,000. So the stationary Mac is about, from the CPU, 3 times as fast and 3 times as powerful. I haven't measured the graphics card. Obviously, I think that would be a little bit unfair. In the Mac Pro, I also have put in the Radeon RX 580. On the MacBook Pro, you can't change this as easily. So I'm gonna put the link to the test result below in the video description, and you can check my different tests there as well. And you should come to a page that is something similar to this. Terrific, guys. This concludes the last video in this mini tutorial series, video number 3, where we did the fresh install of High Sierra on this used 13-inch MacBook Pro. And as you have clearly seen in this small tutorial series, the upgrades are well worth it. First we did the memory upgrade from 4 GB to 16, then we put in the SSD, and now in video number 3 we did the fresh install, and overall it gave a nice performance increase. Obviously not everything has increased. But the major difference that I got from this upgrade was when I used the stopwatch. Before, the boot up time was very slow. It took over a minute for the system to start up. Now it's around, let's say, 17 to 18 seconds, which is definitely a nice increase. And also I noticed when before I was logging into the system, even after logging in, it took a while for the desktop, for everything to get going when it was reading the data from the hard disk drive, as opposed to having put in more memory and the SSD. I would just log in and everything would appear much faster. I click on something, the program would much faster, and before everything was slow. So is the MacBook Pro now perfect for 2019? Not really, but it's good enough for me. If I maybe want to do some light video editing on the go, obviously not huge projects, not 4K projects, maybe some very basic 1080p footage, but that's about it. I mean, obviously you wouldn't use, I think ideally, a mobile device for rendering and stuff like that anyway, unless you have maybe Apple ProRes codecs. But I digress, guys. I don't want to talk that much about the video editing. What I do for you is I put the Geekbench results in the description below. You can compare those. Just note, even though they look very similar or almost similar, it really doesn't tell the whole story about the system performance. Like I told you, the memory is much bigger, and that's why it just can hold more data and the system is more fluid. Stuff gets read into the memory fast, and that's what I think at least from the Geekbench test wasn't captured as well as opposed to the Blackmagic disk speed test. So that's my conclusion. It's a nice upgrade. For me, it's totally worth it. And please just make sure that you have the right tools handy. And also, if you when you put the back cover back on, don't over tighten these rather tiny screws. They're somewhat fragile. If you over tighten them, the head can break off. So you want to be careful. And if you do it like I showed you in my video, everything should be fine. If you're still uncertain, maybe ask a relative or someone who knows, who is like good with this computer stuff. I'm sure they will help you out. Excellent for tuning in. Obviously, I have a lot of other useful videos on my channel. Let me quickly show this to you here. In the playlist computers, you will find a lot of more Mac Pro videos, such as, for example, the MacBook Pro that I bought last year and upgraded very nicely. That has about 3 times the CPU power and an NVMe and a faster, more modern graphics card. Obviously, with these used MacBooks, you can only do so many upgrades, but I put the Geekbench results below. Guys, awesome for tuning in. Have fun with your new device, and I'll see you in the next video. And as a subscriber, all the best to you. Take care.
And yeah, because we just upgraded the used MacBook Pro from 2011 with memory and SSD, up next we're going to compare it against the brand new MacBook Pro in the stock configuration from 2019. And you can find a variety of Mac videos on my channel page, as well as in the video description I linked the videos from this mini tutorial series. Like I told you a couple times, you can subscribe right now as well, as many people have done before you. I see you in the next video.